let's see together here. This is African continent, and then of course the bottleneck we have here is of course how to take over this Sudan map, okay? Because the Sudan map has been took over by South Sudan, and then their name is South Sudan, and then and on beside this we have another new map called Sudan, okay? Where we try to put this source in the middle and then covering the whole thing here. And if you see here, this is mostly a whole map, okay? The whole map. And then this is Australia. Of course, they found also another new continent here called New Zealand down here. And then, of course, I think most of you know New Zealand. And then if you look here, that is basically about the whole map. And then we have also a big area here, a big free land here, down here, which is covering a large acre of different future generations, for future generation use. And then overhead there as well. And then the areas we occupied are on those areas where you see dollars are written, of course, the Brazils. Roll this way, Africa there, and then whatever you go this way, that's how we go. And then this is Australia, of course, and then up here, that is Europe, North America, and then Africa. Let's see here. If the more we roll, the more we see the same map going. Okay, the same map going. Okay. And this area here, mostly they do call it Antiguas, okay? Antiguas down here, okay? So and then this is what they call New Zealand, and then Africa, and then you name it, and you name it. On the other areas here, can tell you, of course, they say it here. This is Wellington on the New Zealand. Auckland in New Zealand, and then Queenstown in New Zealand, and then this is Australia, of course. Okay, so if you look there, basically that is Australia. So on the areas you can see how those cities are covered, of course. So basically, let's see here now on the general map we have. A general map we have here. Is this one? That is to do with basically Sudan, okay? The new Sudan. This is the new Sudan, okay? How we work the new Sudan. This is what we call new Sudan. Here you can see Equatorial opening way up here to this line here, going to Sudan, okay? And then South Sudan is also there protected, and then tactically marked there in the middle, but has no outside border to Ethiopia, no outside border to Uganda, Kenya, Eritrea, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Libya, Chad, Central Africa, DRC, Zaire has no border. So, it's in the middle as South Sudan. Therefore, everything here, because Equatoria, the work the Equatoria, Sudan, has been many years. Equatorial Sudan, Equatoria. Their name is Equatoria. Whatever you go to Australia, you will find the guys there, Equatoria. New Zealand, the guy is there, Equatoria. And then wherever you go, the guy is still Equatoria. Okay. So that is briefly about the strong finance bankers business. Okay. The overviews areas which we demonstrated. Of course, here I show you guys these fellow different Africans I have here in this country, of course, and their names, and there are also YouTube channels you can also subscribe to, and then of course check how they are doing on their channels, because that is basically how to travel, based on how to travel. So which is hindering us, and then we want resolutions out of those areas. That's why we come all from here, okay, from Kenya, and then we come from this area here. If you look on the map, close to Sudan, okay, close to Sudan. It's 5 minutes to Sudan, the area we all come from. So it's a little bit very far away from Nairobi, capital city, as capital city of Kenya. So we are right there with those guys. That's why we are really recognizing, and that's why we are trying to ensure as the nation how to travel, and how to help our parents stand as Equatorians. That's why we are giving back Sudan to Equatoria down here, and then to recognize that we're in Sudan, because everything you are seeing here is merciful. Okay, it's very very merciful. Myself, I'm also not a mapperist and not a geographer myself. I do forget things. So on overview, it's very very hard for me and then for whoever. So therefore, it's very 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 contagious and very difficult for me and for whoever. So that's why we have to ensure is we are in Sudan. That is what I'm saying. So if you see yourself in Sudan, that is why we are working hard to ensure you coordinate and you approve and you accept, yeah, this is a Sudanese and that is a Sudan. That area where we come from, Kenya, is Kenya, and then that area is there remembered as Sudan because the people fled away from there in the 1985 war, and then in 1989 war. Okay, they flee to East Africa, and then they settle there. They flee to Ethiopia, they settle there. It's a war because caused by the same rebel who took over that small area there, and then that's why we have to recognize we are protecting whatever we are in foreign land, we are brought. Then we have to remember that is our motherland. Okay, the copyright policy, how our mother born us. If I look very very different, I look awkward, I'm no longer handsome enough as my mother built, because the problems come from the map. The guy who cut the map doesn't recognize how expensive is my mother's investment on me or other people. That's why everything is going ugly as the overview on the criteria that you are seeing there. So with that, that's why we are giving clue out of those so that to be remembered and then to be recognized as that's our motherland. So we are doing our best at least for that, and then that is there, of course, me, Wine Hassan, as is it all.